What if the reason why you're feeling stuck right now isn't because you don't have the right strategy? It's not because you're not putting in the right effort. It's actually because you don't have the right self-image. What if your self-image is actually the thing that is sabotaging your success? That is what we're going to talk about in today's video. My name is Mario Minner. I'm a high performance coach for entrepreneurs, business owners, and high achievers, and I want to help you get unstuck. And this is a theme and a pattern that just keeps coming up in some of my sessions, and I want to share some tips for you if this could be the thing that's actually keeping you stuck and preventing you from taking the actions that you know that you want to take and reaching your full potential. So first, your self-image. Your self-image is actually the way that you view yourself. And let me describe how this keeps coming up. So one of the clients that I've been working with recently has been working on buying a business, getting his personal habits and his health in order. But what he was talking about recently is how anytime he starts to take action on taking the steps to acquire the business or starting to put the meal plan together or start to put a workout plan together, he feels just so much resistance. And that leads to procrastination, some shame, some guilt, and ultimately it just turns into this cycle. And maybe you're there right now. And so what we started to talk about is not just like what he needed to do, but how he was seeing the situation. And there's this really powerful phrase that you can complete this sentence. And the way that you complete the sentence actually reveals to me how you're thinking about yourself and how your self-image is playing a role. It's this: I'm not the type of person who blank. The way that you complete that sentence could be the reason why you're sabotaging. It could be the reason why you're stuck right now. And so through our coaching sessions and through our interactions, he finished that sentence by saying, I'm not the type of person who's going to be disciplined enough to stick with it in the long term. So if he believes that he's not the type of person that's disciplined enough to stick with it, and ultimately he's just going to try some things, he's going to work hard, and then he's just going to throw it off in the future, he's going to slip it up and he's going to end right back where he is right now, then why would he even start? And so that's why when he revealed that his self-image of himself is somebody who isn't disciplined, somebody who isn't going to stick with it, somebody who isn't going to actually figure it out, then that's the exact reason why he was stuck. And so what we did is we actually started to flip it and say, all right, well, what are the examples that you are actually disciplined? And we started to come up with a ton of evidence. And once we started to come up with evidence, there was the fact that he's an MBA. There's the fact that he has gone through and done some really hard things. He's gotten multiple PMP certifications, and he's very accomplished and a very high achieving individual. But because his self-image is one that he isn't disciplined, that's the thing that's keeping him stuck. And so once you start to change your self-image, your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors start to align with that self-image. That's just one example. Another example is another client has been working at a GM, in a GM position as a leader in his current company. And he's also starting his own franchise, starting his own business. But anytime he started to enter into these leadership types of activities, leading a team meeting, casting the future vision, starting to take action towards the location and the next location of his franchise, he started to feel that same resistance. And so that was a signal to me that it's time to look at the self-image. And so we went through the same exercise. Like, what are you telling yourself about this situation? And what it came down to is, I'm not the type of person who's a capable or worthy leader. I'm not the type of leader. And so again, if you're not viewing yourself as a leader, then your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, your actions, and your actual results are going to align with your self-image. And when you start to think this way, you take actions that align with it, those give you results that actually just reinforce that same belief that you're not a capable leader. So again, now that you understand the tool, what we did is I just asked, well, I don't think that's true. Give me some evidence of why you're a capable leader, why you're a worthy leader. And we came up with so many different answers about how his gym that he leads is one of the highest performing gyms in all of the state, in between all the different franchises. And we started to look at all of these other examples. He gets really good reviews from the people on his team, and everybody feels safe to come up and talk to him and present issues. We looked at his personal life and other things, the way that he leads his family, the way that he leads his team. This is all evidence that started to transform his self-image. And so the concept of self-image is so important, and it's not necessarily something that we think about. Most of the time when you're stuck, you're just thinking of what do I need to do to get out of it? But what I want to encourage you to do is to think about how are you thinking about yourself in this situation, and maybe consider that this could be the thing that's actually keeping you stuck. And there's a really good book called Psycho-Cybernetics that talks about this concept of a self-image and how you can start to view yourself as the type of person who blank. And when in that blank, that's where you insert whatever it is that your goal is. And so this is so important, and it's such an important concept that keeps coming up in these sessions that I wanted to share it with you today. And so a couple of things that I want you to consider. If you're feeling stuck in a particular area, that's a good signal that your self-image probably hasn't aligned with the actions that you're taking. So take a look at that statement, I'm not the type of person who, and then finish that sentence. But what you then want to do after that is start to get clear, not just on your past and where you're at right now. So start to imagine, who do you want to be in the future? Who do you want to be 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now? And start to get clear on your future self. Because when you start to get clear on your future self and your future self identity, you can start to describe, how does that person think? What beliefs does that person have? What actions do they take? How do they wake up in the morning? How do they go to bed at night? How do they feel? What are the things that they say? And once you get super clear on that future identity and that self-image, you can start to act as if you are that person today. And that is so important, because when you start to show up as your future self, that's when you can start to feel differently about the situations that you're in right now. And I'm going to be real with you and be honest that this is actually going to feel very uncomfortable for you at first. Because if you have been living your whole life, sometimes people have been telling themselves that they're not disciplined for 20 or 30 or 40 years. And I flip it and ask you and make you realize that that's not necessarily true, and help you kind of show up as that disciplined person. You telling yourself I'm disciplined is going to feel uncomfortable. And so what you want to do is not just take a look at where your self-image is deficient, not just look at your future identity and start to get clear on it. What you need to do is you need to start to build evidence on a daily basis for the fact that you are disciplined, or the fact that you are a capable and a worthy leader, or you are the type of person who can stick with it regardless of what happens. Because a lot of times when you believe this approach, you might fall for the trap that you think it's going to happen like that, and it's going to happen overnight. But the reality is you can make that shift, change your perspective, but the way that it actually becomes ingrained in your new identity. And this is where I recommend writing down 1 to 3 wins on a daily basis for your new identity. Because when you start to adopt that new perspective, that new self-image, and you look for evidence for it, and you consistently do that over time, that's when you actually make that shift and you show up as that person. This process isn't it isn't an overnight thing, but it is something that will 100% change the way that you feel about a situation if you view yourself in that future identity, if you start to prove it to yourself with daily wins. So that is what I have for you today. I want you to consider, in the areas that you're feeling stuck, how is it that your self-image or the way that you see yourself might be contributing to that? And I want you to know that those are the steps to overcome it. And if this is something that you want help with, if you're feeling stuck in improving your personal habits, if you're feeling stuck in showing up as a leader, as a business owner, as you're kind of reaching this ceiling, that's exactly where I can come in. I typically come in with successful high achievers and business owners who are reaching that next level, and they've hit that plateau. And when you hit that plateau, that's typically when these self-image concepts really start to lead to a rut. They lead to a plateau and they lead to sabotage. And that's where I can come in and help you break through that, reinterpret how you see yourself, implement some new strategies and new systems, and help you break through to the next level. So go ahead and book a call down below or send me a DM on Instagram. Would love to help you with that process.